All right, Anthony on Air podcast back for another episode. Frankie C's in the house, which is great. Always good to have him here. We're talking about this
Oh,
explosive new confession from an ex-girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein. This is not clickbait. Your jaw is going to drop a couple times when we discuss that. On the lighter side of things, Kim Kardashian's hologram thing we're going to talk about.
light is a
And
pun there.
yeah, and maybe the thing that's going to salvage 2020 for a lot of people, we'll get into that as well.
What could that be?
I know, like people didn't see it in the description or the thumbnail. Anyway, Rina Oh is 41 years old. So there's this investigative thing called Broken Seeking Justice, and they track down this Rina Oh, and
These are civilians?
yeah, it's like no, it's like this reporter does it, and
Oh, okay.
it's this like really super intense interaction that they have because I was looking at it, reviewing it, and I'm going, I don't know if this woman is, like when you first get it, you're like, this woman should be in prison. Like, was she? I don't like investigators are going to be knocking on her door next. And then you kind of go through it and you find yourself in that place where we've been, where we've talked about, like, where it's like, is this a co-conspirator or is this a victim? Like you kind of don't
Right.
know. So here's all the stuff that we learned from this interaction. She's 41 years old. She lives in Jersey. She's an artist. It's important to keep that in mind. She's married to a man named Vincent Amen, like Amen. Vincent Amen was named as one of 5 unindicted co-conspirators in Michael Jackson's trial. So when Michael Jackson was in the trial, he was named as one of the co-conspirators. So he knew Michael Jackson. She knew Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, talk about an all-star game of sleaze, you know.
Yeah.
That's like the fact that, but you could almost kind of understand how these two found each other. So she says early on that Epstein was the older, richer boyfriend that she had in the early 2000s. And she said that he constantly pestered her to bring other women to his Upper East Side mansion. She said she was not concerned when he made her take the then 17-year-old Virginia Roberts Jeffries shopping with a request. And the request was that she go out, take her out, to get her a little schoolgirl outfit.
He.
That's the face. The face that
That's
Frank
no
just
good.
made is the face that I made when I read that for the first time.
And everybody watching this just made that face, I think.
Same exact face. Like, where are you at as a person when your boyfriend, right, goes take this girl out and go buy her a little schoolgirl outfit?
Yeah. And 17 is not legal. I don't think. And it's not in this state.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up. She says, I wasn't asking any questions. I just did as I was told. And you don't ask questions. That's rude when dealing with a billionaire.
That's rude. Oh, God forbid you should be rude. Are you
Right?
kidding me?
Could you imagine? She felt like it was rude to be like, what's going on here?
Let's see. Rude or aid someone in a devious sexual act.
I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine for a second? Now, granted, we're not billionaires, but could you imagine for a second if you told your wife, or I told my wife, don't ask any questions, just do as you're
That's where it
told.
stops. I can't imagine that right there. You could end it right there. Don't ask any questions. I can't imagine having any amount of money where I would say something like that to my wife. Don't ask any questions.
I actually do say that to my wife when I want to make a joke. When I'm like, just don't ask any questions,
Yeah.
do what you're told. Like that's
Sure.
and she laughs
If
at
you're
me
joking.
as she should be.
Right.
This idea, but I feel like that's like a little insight into how all this stuff happens. Like you want to get granular on this. Like this is how this happens. You have these incredibly wealthy, powerful people just pushing around their influence to people that are so susceptible to that, where she literally felt like if I question this, it would be
What would
rude.
she think the repercussion would be. All right, so the guy's a billionaire. What would he do if you said why?
I think she thought that she would be out. I think that's the repercussion. I don't think that it's
The
like,
repercussion is that you don't get to be with him.
yeah, you don't get the access. You don't get the,
Okay.
because the background on this is she's, she was, I don't know, like she's 41 now. So in 2000, she was 21.
20 years, yeah.
Yeah. So 20 years old, 20 years old. And she's an art student and she finds this billionaire and she thinks, and this is, I'm quoting her, she thinks, I found a patron of the arts here. And I found somebody that's going to buy my art. And I found somebody that's going to finance me to do what I love to do. And the idea that you might lose that, I think, is terrifying to some people. I mean, I don't think that there's much of a difference between what she said and people who are just with rich older guys because they love the cars and the vacations,
which
and all
is
that.
fine. We'll be with a rich older guy if you want to just be with a rich older guy. I get it. But there's got to be, I mean, you can't just sit back and let him do. What if he said, here, take this body and dump it in the dumps or in the ocean or whatever? Do you not ask a question, or
Right.
your morals, once you decide I'm with this guy because he's a billionaire, your morals are just gone? I mean, that can't be.
You're right.
You still have to have some shred of morals here.
You're right, but I think people like this, it's not that they're giving up morals, but I think their standards tend to change.
Standards of what?
I mean, like, like if any guy asked a woman to go take out another woman and get an outfit, I don't think that they would necessarily do that. But when she's faced with this situation, she's like, I'm not going to ask any questions. It's not my business. You know what I mean?
It is your business. I feel like it's.
I
mean, if he went out and did it, yeah, but she's directly involved now.
Well, I don't know if
did it. You still ask questions, but he's now directly involving her.
Well, because I think you're insinuating love. I don't think there was love.
Yeah, there's no love. Hey, if there was love, then you could almost understand her not asking questions. But if there's no love, then you ask questions. Like, if it's your husband, of your wife, you kind of give benefit of the doubt. But with this, you kind of have to bring up some, hey, what am I doing here? What's the end game on this?
Well, and that's the other thing too. Keep in mind, she's 21, right? I'm not saying it's right.
Young,
exactly.
No, that's true. She's naive, I guess.
Exactly. How many younger, more stupid things did we do when we were 21? Granted, not this horrible, but still.
No.
She says it didn't concern her because 17 to me is not a child. 17 is a minor, 17 is not a child, and 17 is the legal age in New York State. In most states, 17 is legal, end quote.
I thought 18 was the universal, or it should be, or...
No, every state's different.
Isn't it always 18? I know it's different in every state, but I grew up in New York. I always thought 18 is
I don't know.
age.
Yeah, I don't know. I never found myself in a situation where I was like, wait, let me check the age of consent.
Yeah, let me check this a second. Hang on. I got to look this
I think
up.
when you're as soon as you go to Google that, it's a sign. Don't do it. You're in trouble.
Yeah, no.
Not a good move.
No.
She later changes her mind during the course of the interview, though. She says later on, I think it's disgusting seeing 40-year-old men with 20-year-olds. They're children. I think it's disgusting, and I'm so traumatized. She also realizes she also claimed that she now realizes that Jeffrey was brought in to serve a purpose. She says, and I quote, like she was groomed to do this at an early age. He's not the only one who was involved, she stressed, but she did not elaborate, meaning there were more people. During this conversation, Jeffrey had accused, I shouldn't say during the conversation. During this time, Jeffrey had accused O of joining Epstein in abusing her, which she denied. So Jeffrey said
she denied that she got abused.
Yeah, that O also joined in on the abuse. She said, of this said, I'm just letting you know what she accused me of doing is a complete fabricated lie. My part of the story is I did not abuse anyone, period. She freely admitted, though, to taking 3 women to Epstein's Manhattan mansion, including, and I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry, Marichki Chartuni, a former model who was also accused of joining in on the abuse. Rina Oh said the women were, quote, people who knew about him, wanted to meet him. I brought Marichki in because Epstein kept asking me to bring my friends. Oh also denied abusing her, but said, I was in the room when Marichki and I were both victimized by Epstein. So as this woman is interviewing Rina Oh, she's starting to say more things. And towards the end, she goes, well, I was victimized. We were both victimized basically at the same time, which is a different account than what this other young lady is saying, which is that she was, they were both in on taking advantage of her.
Is Ghislaine involved in any of this?
Not in any of this, no. And I think this is sort of in that
post Ghislaine.
Yeah, I think so, or maybe when she wasn't around as often. And it sounds like he replaced her almost with this girl because he was constantly encouraging her to bring people around. But I want to dive into this one part, which is so bizarre, is that she says, Rina Oh says, people knew about him and wanted to meet him. Lost some of the
Skittles. They were not as sturdy as I thought. Go ahead.
That's kind of strange. Now, granted, this is 2000, so this is before anything public has come about. But this idea of like people wanted to meet him, like you can just see how easy this was to do.
And how we got away with it for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know until you're in the situation, I guess, but how at least one person, there seems to be so many people involved that one person in the 30 odd years that he was doing this should have been like, red flag, wait a second. But again, you don't know. All these people could be victims, and you can't blame the victim if they're under duress or something. But there's got to be one person who wasn't a victim that could be like, hey, I think this guy had servants everywhere. This guy had, chauffeurs and people he dealt with all the time. There's not one person over the however many years came forward and said, hey, check out this guy.
Right. She addresses that, and we're going to address it, but we do have to pause to talk about our hero soap company. So stick around for that. Let me just tell you about this really quickly because they're a proud sponsor of the podcast.
I'm going to grab my Skittles.
Huge supporters of the podcast. Best soap I've ever had, and it's an extraordinary company owned by a veteran. And of course, it's if you buy a bar of soap, they send a bar of soap to the troops. If you buy a bar of soap, they use some of the proceeds to build mortgage-free homes for our veterans. They're extraordinary. It's all natural. No parabens. Those are preservatives. They're chemicals. You don't want them involved. The Skittles don't want to be on the coat rack.
Skittles are going to stay on the ground. That's fine.
Just the way you don't want your parabens in your soap, which most national brands have parabens in them. Hero Soap does not, which means this will actually go bad if you don't use it after a while because it's made with real. This is the way soap was supposed to be made without shortcut.
I haven't heard a single complaint about any of this, by the way. I've read the reviews from our people in the comments. People have been using it. They rave about it.
Yeah, and that makes me feel so great because if I like it, I feel like other people will like it. And to actually see the other people coming through and being like, yeah, this is really, really good, that brings me a lot of happiness. And, of course, when you support them, you're supporting the podcast. If you open up your camera app and point it at the screen right now, that'll take you right to our special page, or you can click the link in the description or click the banner at anthonyonair.com, and you'll get taken right over to the Hero Soap Company site so you can buy. And you can sign up for a subscription. They'll send however much soap to your house, however often you want. You'll save 20% off when you use the promo code Anthony on that one. So, yeah, to get back, what you said is so interesting, Frank. And here's what she had to say about that. She says...
people not coming forward out of all the people that he knew.
Yeah, she goes, I was tricked from the beginning to the end. Everybody is tricked. You're shown a bunch of different cards throughout the process. It's like a recruitment process. I wish I didn't bring anyone there. I wish I didn't go there, but I went there for a reason. My husband was involved with Michael Jackson for a reason. Between the two of us, we know everything that we need to know. I had to be victimized to understand what happens to victims. Between the two of us, we do talk about that all the time. So, she says, like, it's a shell, it's a game, it's a card. Like, if you're Epstein and you get somebody like Rina Oh around or Ghislaine Maxwell around, and then you do whatever, and then you encourage them and you offer them something that they need. In this woman's particular case, I don't know what Ghislaine's reasoning is, but, I'll buy your art. And she admits he spent money on her. He gave her things, He bought art pieces from her and everything else. And then you go bring some friends around. And then you get into that point where you're like, I don't want to lose this. So and then it gets even worse. It gets even worse for you, because then you're talking to other people and they're like, oh, I want to meet Jeffrey. And you know how bad it is, but you're like reasoning with yourself like she was like, they want to meet him. He wants to meet them.
Yeah, it's
I'm
a
not
gradual
doing anything
process.
wrong here.
I think in my head especially, I'm thinking, it's not just a guy or whoever that comes up to a stranger and says, here's the deal, let's go up to this guy's house. It's not like that. It's a long con, and it's a head game that's played with these people.
Right.
And people fall victim to it, and it's I guess it's a hard thing not to fall for,
It is.
For people who need stuff that you provided for them, they're gonna trust you a little more.
It is, and he literally has figured out, like, his talent has become figuring out what people need and how to serve it to them, exploit it to get what he. Rina Oh and Virginia Giuffre do not get along because of the accusation against O. O says that Virginia Giuffre was not. She blew up that photo of Virginia and Prince Andrew, and she says it's a fake. She says that Virginia's full of a lot of hot air and this and that. But it's also interesting, the timing, because they opened up the victims fund so that victims of Epstein can get monetarily compensated. And it was right around that time that O came out and said, oh, I'm a victim too in all of this. So for the detractors out there that don't believe she's a victim, there's another little nugget of, like, there's other motive.
Yeah, victims, you can't, if they're a true victim, they're going to come forward when they're ready. You can't.
Yeah.
But if they're faking it, then that's another angle that people sometimes take advantage of, I guess. So
yeah,
it's got to be. I'm sure there's records of this woman being there or something.
No, I think it's they've all. So that's the other interesting part about this. They've all corroborated each other. Like, Virginia acknowledges that she took her out shopping.
Oh, so they're all aware of each other. They all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what this Marachki, I'm so sorry that I'm just butchering that name, but that's what basically she said at the end of it. She, even though Rina didn't admit to doing something to her, just the pure acknowledgement that Rina said, I did see her being victimized.
Right.
That was a little bit of peacefulness for her, because she's like, at least somebody is acknowledging, that this was done.
Right.
So,
well, there you go. Jaws are dropped. More and more of this comes forward.
Yeah, because
nothing good has come forward. It's not like every time something comes out, it's another damning,
Yeah.
horrible thing. And nothing ever comes out. You go, oh well, okay, that's one for their side, you know.
Well, the victims
always
fund was
something bad.
good. That was the one. That was a bright spot, at least. But I don't think we're going to see another good thing until we see Ghislaine Maxwell. You know.
Right, but no, I mean like another hidden, like part of the puzzle. The victims fund, I think, was we all kind of knew about. Didn't when did that come out?
Just a few. I don't know. We did it a few episodes ago. I can't tell. Time
Yeah,
is a.
and at
Time
least
is,
I mean that was like a public thing though. It wasn't like part of the trial, right?
yeah. Yes, it wasn't part of the trial. No, it's two separate things.
No, I mean like yeah, in terms of the investigation, whenever something comes out, it's always something incredibly damning and terrible.
Yeah. So I mean, this is like. But now I wonder, like, I would imagine the next call this woman is going to get is from investigators.
If she hasn't already, I mean, I feel like they knew. If we know about it, they probably knew about it.
They knew about it a
weeks
while
ago.
Yeah.
Has to. I mean, how the hell do we know about it and they don't, or they're just hearing about it at the same time we are? That can't be.
I don't think they're hearing about it at the same time we are, but it's amazing how much people will admit to media. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she gives the same answers to questions if she's sitting in a questioning room at a police precinct or FBI.
I would imagine she would give more there.
I don't know. There's something about just you're giving an interview that I think kind of relaxes people to, say a little bit, because like even in this thing, like she was very guarded at first, and then things got intense and she let out a little bit more. And then it was after the interview concluded that she came out and said that she was, victimized. That came a little bit of a time later, but.
So, I mean, like if you're being interviewed by like the FBI, say, and or cops or whoever, they have ways to to get things out of you that you wouldn't even volunteer. It comes out, like it's not really. I don't know if it's intimidation or if it's like they offer deals. I mean, if there could be also stuff we don't even know how many. Like, is this woman now gonna be part of like the the bad side where she's going to be prosecuted, or is she going to be someone that helps the law enforcement? How much of this is against her, and how much of this is she going to be able to help everybody?
Yeah, like kind of like what we said with the chef. Now's the time to help. Now's the time to spill all the beans. You know,
before it's all over.
Yeah.
Before this is in the past, get everything out now.
Because she says Epstein's not the only guy. And then when she doesn't elaborate on it, so if she knew or knows of and can confirm other people.
Well, that's all the stuff that they're releasing now, right? That's all the names and things that was approved to be released. I mean, we haven't gotten yet.
That deposition came out that there was nothing really. It gave us a little bit of insight, to.
Didn't give us more names. Really.
Not more names. No.
So she knows.
Was a hope.
She has in her head more people than the paperwork or whatever that the hundreds of documents show.
Yeah.
She has more stuff in her head. Whoops.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. I'm in the.
So there's that. Internet. If there's ever if there's an update on, I would imagine like this Sarah Kellen, like the girlfriends, like the ones that were labeled girlfriends, who, may not have actually been girlfriends, but maybe you could actually consider them like higher in ranks in his little twisted system. I think they're going to be, become more important. Renee, Sarah, like I think we're going to hear about more of them over the next few months and what they know and what they can offer.
I can't imagine how many there must be over the years. There's got to be dozens.
And she also, to bring it back to the chef, she also alluded to there being like 15 people working at each one of his homes.
Exactly. How this has been under the table so long.
Yeah.
He had to have so many victims. It's unbelievable. Like even let's say the person who, the maid. Let's say there's someone who cleans the house. I mean, I'm sure this person stumbled across stuff they weren't meant to, and
Had to.
either there's one of two things happen. Either this person didn't care about it, or Epstein had something on them, or either threatened or offered them, oh, like, your mom's sick, here's money,
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff like that. Who knows?
And again, he knew how to prey on victims. So I'm sure whoever he hired to work in his house or be this or do that, and Ghislaine helped hire them. I'm sure they fit the, the profile of exactly.
It's like a cult. When people get pulled into a cult, they're looking for something, and these people provide it, and then you fall victim to it. It's tragic.
Kanye's making news again. He got a very unique gift for Kim Kardashian.
I can't.
What do you think about this?
I think it's weird because, well, you know what? It's not. Kim seemed to love it.
Right.
She tweeted out or whatever that it was an amazing thing. She kept watching it, and how she brought her to tears. And so, job well done, I guess, on Kanye's part. However, as an outsider watching this thing, one of the first things that he says from beyond the grave references what I can only imagine is farting.
A poofy or whatever he called it.
Poofy or something, a foopy or.
So Kanye got her a hologram of her father, who was obviously passed on. And I'll just play a little bit of it here.
Happy birthday, Kimberly. Look at you. You're 40 and all grown up. You look beautiful, just like when you were a little girl. I watch over you and your sisters and brother and the kids every day. Sometimes I drop hints that I'm around, like when you hear someone make a big peefee.
Oh, peefee.
Or when you make a big peefee. Remember when I would drive you to school in my tiny Mercedes every day and we would listen to this song together?
All right, obviously we can't play the song.
Yeah, no, but I mean, how do you get the voice? I'm sure that's got to be an actor that somewhat sounds like him.
Yeah.
And that's not just a video. That's a hologram.
That's a hologram. Like he's standing right there.
Like he was standing in their house.
Yeah. It looked really great except for the eyes. The eyes seemed a little like video
computery.
Game. Yeah. But it looks really phenomenal.
Close enough. You give it another 15 years, it's going to be like there's another person in the house.
Which goes back to remember the kid we talked about? I don't know how healthy all of this kind of thing really is. I know it's...
Hey, you know what?
Very comforting.
We don't know. Yeah, I mean, look at Kim has a positive experience with it, right? I mean, it's only been a day, but... So
let me say this.
What's the long-term effect of this?
Let me say this. This is kind of like, when your 4-year-old comes to you and is like, look, I drew you, and he shows you just a scribble thing, and you're like, oh, this is beautiful, I felt a little of that in there because her message,
like treating Kanye like a 4-year-old.
Yeah, her message on Twitter was so over the top. For my birthday, Kanye got me the most thoughtful gift of a lifetime, a special surprise from heaven, a hologram of my dad. It's so lifelike. We watched it over and over. I can't even describe what this meant to me and my sisters and my brother and my mom and closest friends to experience together. Thank you so much, Kanye, for this memory that will last a lifetime. It felt a little bit like that to me, but I have to admit.
Like, I'm going to put this hologram up on the fridge. Like, what a great job you did.
Put the hologram in the garage, and then you're in there getting a water at 2 a.m. Like, holy, God damn.
Oh, Dad, holy crap. How do you turn that thing on? Is it just like hitting play on a DVD player?
Oh, my God. No, but I have to.
There's got to be lights and things. Yeah.
I know. I have to admit that I watched the whole 2-minute clip. It was touching. It kind of won me over a little bit. It was like.
It is. It's like a greeting card. You know what though? You don't know. Like if you knew the person, you could instantly go, well, this isn't how that he would talk, or this isn't how he stood there. You know, it would look instantly fake to you if you knew the person.
Yeah.
Or it would look instantly real to you. You know, I'm sure Kim and especially what's her name? Her mother, Kim's mother.
Chris,
yeah. I'm sure she, above everybody else, because the kids were all young, I think, when he passed away. I'm sure she, out of everybody, looked at it and said whether it was 100, this is dead on him.
Yeah.
Or this is just a weird, computer game.
I mean, I think it even if you get close enough, like this thing did, it's you're probably just so overwhelmed that it's standing there talking to you, and you're.
That's true.
Your mind kind of fills in the gaps.
Voice. How did they get? It's got to be an actor providing the voice, but how do you get someone that matches so well? Or
again, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you just submit, like you and I, for instance, I think we've done enough shows that after we die, somebody can take everything that we've ever said and computer generate the rest and fill in the gaps.
So you don't even think it's an actor. You think it's just audio that was compiled and put into a computer program, and the sounds were made by the computer.
Yeah, a little of both. I think you can have
It's
somebody
like a modulation.
Yeah, you can analyze it so much, and instead of the Siri voice, you could just put that tone exactly over all the text. And yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, if I'm Kim, if I'm the person who lost somebody, I'm gonna be like, this is so fantastic. But I can't help but pulling back a little bit and going, how far away are we from somebody dying and people being like, guess what? For just $20,000, we could bring your loved one back in hologram form. And we could put these little special lights all throughout your house, and they could walk around, and you could interact with Dad every day. Just be everywhere.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, just be
You
everywhere.
lean against the wall, and you hit a switch, and it just comes on.
You come home, and there's Dad sitting on the couch, drinking a beer.
Oh.
How far away are we from that?
And they interact with you the way they would have. And then eventually it's just you and a house full of holograms. You walk in and you kind of elbow to elbow with everybody. All right, guys, eventually we got to say goodbye at some point.
One day you decide, why am I dealing with real people? Let me just get a bunch of holograms in here, pack the place with people that, that I enjoy, that I like, that never
300 years from now, your house is just filled with ancestors that you just never deleted off the hologram computer.
Yeah.
You have great uncle, whatever the hell from 100 years ago. He's just he's in your using the bathroom.
How far away are we from this? Not far.
It isn't. I don't know, but I feel like we were here at this point 10 years ago. Didn't they did this with Tupac? They did this with Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but that was
the hologram thing.
But that was like up at a stage with
still they were dancing around, and they had dancers next to the hologram. It was freaky.
Yeah, but it was up on a stage,
like up on a screen,
in a professional concert setting with all the lighting rigs and everything. They were on an island somewhere, for the love of God. Like, I mean, come on.
When you have millions and millions and whatever, you could set that crap up in your own. You could set up a concert on your private island.
I don't disagree, but it's still a step in this direction. It's still a step in the direction of Dad replacing Alexa in your house one day. You come home and instead of hearing that voice, you hear Dad's voice. Imagine that. Like you
Dad
come home,
turn on the TV.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, how are we doing on soap? Can you order me some more soap? I mean, did you close the garage door?
And he goes, I closed the garage door, you son of a bitch. It's like, oh, all right. Maybe we'll switch back to Siri for a couple hours.
If this were my dad, he'd be in the garage all the time. He would be in no other room but the garage.
Just set him up out there.
Yeah, just put him
every now and then. Kind of like Shaun of the Dead. Just keep him in the garage.
People come over and be like, what happened? Didn't you spend all this money on a hologram of your father? I'm like, yeah, he just like my dad, just started leaving and going to the garage.
I put him in the living room, and he said, "Put me in the garage." I don't know what to tell you. You know.
He keeps saying he'll be right back. He just wanders for hours out in the garage. I don't know what he's doing out there. But
can you imagine the one person in the family that doesn't get hologrammed? How they would, they're in the afterlife, and they're like, "That son of a bitch." I'm the one person not there because they didn't like me.
Yeah, can you imagine that? What are we gonna do for Aunt Millie's hologram? Let's skip Aunt Millie.
Aunt Millie was a pain in the ass. You just turn them off when you want. It's messed up, man.
But I mean, think about it. Our faces have been scanned now more than ever. We are all on video now more than ever. There's more data collected on our expressions and well-being and all of this stuff. Like, how hard are we going to be to recreate?
Well, we're there, it seems. Or at least 90% of the way there. I'm sure the hologram isn't a 100% depiction. There's got to be, as a person, as part of the family, they've got to see it and go, well, it's not exact, but they're close.
Yeah. To
me,
me,
I feel like we're very close.
This is like when you went to go see the first movie and it was a silent. Like, talkies are around the corner, and then before you know it, there's going to be high definition TV, And
then 3D, and then holograms, baby.
Yep.
The Jetsons were right.
Right now, we're at a silent film and somebody playing the piano in the theater to go along with it. That's where we are right now.
I think we should go back to that. That seems like a fun thing. I don't know why.
McDonald's.
I'm sorry, because you could picture the piano player like the Avengers is on screen, and it's like dun 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 dun. And you're like, oh God, honey, it's Thanos.
I would actually pay to see that.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun.
Do new movies, but in an old-fashioned silent movie way.
That would be where the screen goes black and just the text comes on the screen.
Letters.
Yeah.
Like black, and as Avengers assemble. And then they start running, like dun, 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 dun,
and you
dun,
you fast forward the running.
Yep. Oh, that would be. Someone do that. Whoever's watching this, if you have the means, do a silent movie theater with new movies. I think that's a great idea.
It's an interesting concept. I think that would be really funny for some of these things.
A lot of the things that are going on now are very nostalgic. Like records are coming back. A lot of old-fashioned things.
Yeah.
Are now being, it's all cyclical. Everything comes back as nostalgia.
Yeah.
Of the old video games.
The McRib.
The McRib.
Can you believe?
Where's my segue?
It's been 8 years since the McRib has been nationwide here in America. 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah. I think when you... because it doesn't feel like it's been 8 years since it's been in McDonald's, and I think that's because it's been here in New York. I think regionally they have it, but nationally it hasn't been everywhere in 8 years. And Business Insider just got this breaking news that McDonald's is bringing back the McRib in an attempt to save 2020.
Well, thank you, McDonald's. Someone had to do it, and we left it to McDonald's. And that's a smart move.
Listen, if all the baseball players could do is play baseball to help us get back to normalcy, and the football players play football, what do you expect McDonald's to do but bring back the McRib? This is what they can do.
Do what they do best.
That's it.
The only thing better would be if they brought back the McFlurry. But, it's not St. Patrick's Day, so they made it like a special Christmas McFlurry.
A Christmas McFlurry would be really good. Why don't they have a pumpkin McFlurry?
I don't know. Let's work for McDonald's and tell them what to do. Pumpkin McFlurry, a gingerbread, something for the holidays.
Just do everything that Starbucks is doing and just make it into a McFlurry. Like, how is that hard?
Exactly.
I don't
know, man. Why do we have all the good ideas?
We're spouting out $1 million ideas here for people. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we don't have the means. We have the idea. We're idea people. We don't have. After this, we'll just take a nap, and whatever we thought of will disappear.
That's true. If somebody came to us and said, "Here's the money to do that," we'd be like, "Yeah, but I'm a little tired, so."
No, give me a McRib.
I don't know if you know this, but I got to get some sleep this weekend because I have 3 hours of talking to do next week. So
rest up.
Got to rest up for that.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever had a McRib. Gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting. It's
Is
completely,
it?
yeah. I mean, it's supposedly a slab of ribs where they've just removed the bone from and stuck in between a piece of bread with a pickle.
See, now,
People love it,
if
though.
that's what it is, okay. But I get the feeling it's meat compressed into the shape of rib.
Yes, that's what I described is what the perception that they put out. What you described is actually how they make it.
Is the reality. Okay.
Yeah. There's a picture of it for those that are actually watching. That's the McRib right there.
God.
It's got onions on it, pickles, and
See,
the
remove
bread.
the onions for me. I'm not an onion guy. But
Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, you'd be repulsed by this because it's got raw onions. Frank does not do the onion thing.
no, not so much.
I've been on the healthier side of eating, so I'd crush one of these right now. Like it would probably taste so delicious. But
You know what? I think I had one of those a long time ago, and my experience with it could have been the one I got. If I'm remembering this right, I think it was the McRib. Don't hold me to that, but I think it was. And I bit into it, and I remember just getting a mouthful of sauce and no like meat.
yes,
Like you're expecting meat, and you just bite into it, and you just get bread and sauce, and it made me gag, and I was like, "This is not good." And
it's a lot of sauce, and I think it's for people that like love sauce.
have they upgraded it from 20 years ago?
I don't know if McDonald's upgrades anything, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not entirely sure.
I feel like the McNugget has gone through some kind of upgrade.
I still love the McNugget. I mean, there's something about McNuggets.
They're good.
They're
Fries are great too.
They're fantastic.
You get a McNugget meal with the fries and the fountain soda. I'm
Oh,
set, baby.
so hungry right now. So hungry. I can't even tell you. I have a great idea for people for Halloween, Frank.
Oh, what do you got?
Because this Halloween
Hologram?
is going to be, oh, that would be amazing.
How do you pull that off?
Could you imagine if somebody's like, my boyfriend, it's been a challenging year financially, and my boyfriend got me a hologram for my birthday, but oddly, it was Rob Kardashian.
Yeah, he got the Rob Kardashian version. that was the demo version when you got Rob Kardashian free, and then you got to pay for the rest of it.
Strangest thing, for my 40th birthday, Rob Kardashian said he was proud of me.
Thanks. And then he did a peefee and left.
A little peefy and gone. That's it. But before I share that, I want to remind you that the merch store is open. And
Look at that merch.
we've got not only our classic Anthony on Air microphone, but we've just added a whole bunch of new stuff, including our Wife Life collection, which has only one thing in it now, which is this Mom's Not Now shirt, which I really do love. So for the mom or the wife out there that can't be bothered, you can get that nice little Not Now shirt. We also have
Is that?
Huh?
How nice is that?
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that microphone in the back of it?
No, this is the front. These are all the fronts. The backs.
All right,
are,
I'm looking at. It looks almost like there's like the back of the shirt has a microphone on it.
Yeah, no, that's like the lady workout tee you're looking at right there. And this
Got it.
one, designed by Frankie C himself, the
Yep,
silhouette.
there we are.
We have the now before the podcast famous, but made re-famous by J Sabs, the That's What She Said t-shirt, which comes
Nice.
in long sleeve. And similar to our microphone, we have the coffee cup, which you can see there in the comfort tee. We've got the glass of wine in a lady's boyfriend tee right there. And the mug of beer, which you can see in a sweatshirt version right
These
there.
are awesome. I gotta get some of those.
So all that merch is up. We'll link it in the description on the store. And, of course, if you make a merch perch, it goes to help support the podcast, and we greatly appreciate that.
Good merch.
This is my idea for Halloween for all the adults, because obviously a lot of people, we can't have parties and things like that. So this is my idea. As you're taking the kids around to trick or treat, right? You want to do something fun this year for Halloween. You know, you gotta find your own little joys in life. Make up a bunch of cards. On each one, you write this phrase. And as your kids are going around trick-or-treating, not every car, but a couple of cars, slip the card in there. You put it like in the windshield. And on the card, you write in your own handwriting, I know what you did. You take that, and you just pop it on somebody's windshield, and you just sit back and think about all the possibilities of what you just caused.
You just panic the crap out of a family.
Yep.
A nice old lady. See, now I don't know if I can. I'm gonna have to go on the other end of this and say it's messed up, man.
This is the greatest idea I've ever had, because we can't have Halloween parties this year. If you want to have some fun, now if you really want to have some fun, like do it to your neighbor and put a camera out there all the time so you can actually watch what happens. But
See, that's good fun. But you're doing it to a stranger.
Yeah. Well, strange is fun. It's all good fun. Like, and here's what I would suggest. It's not because you're thinking that's dumb, man. Is it though? Here's what you do. Like, especially if you have a neighbor, write in the big girly writing, like that big curve, or get your wife to write it. You know what I mean? And then stick it on your neighbor's husband's car, but so that it's facing the wife's car. I mean, now this is just hours.
So it's gonna say I know what you've done, or I know what you did.
Yeah. Just I know what you did. Just that's it. You will freak out anybody who's cheating on their significant other. You will freak out anybody who's stealing from their boss. You're going to put a lot of people into a straight up panic.
Right, which would probably invoke some people to get authorities involved, I would imagine.
I don't think so, because what do they do?
I don't know. If it's something serious, prints. I don't know.
Oh, wear gloves. Before I forgot to mention, we definitely wear gloves before you do it.
Nothing strange going on here when whatever advice he's giving you starts with wear gloves. So your prints can't be traced back to you. This sounds like a hell of a plan, and I could see nothing going wrong.
I feel like one of those, when they invite the cupcake expert on the Today Show and they come in and show you all the little holiday cupcakes. I feel like that only with
This is your version of that?
This is my version of that.
How to be a dick. And this is the Anthony's How to Be a Dick segment.
Yeah. But the thing is if you do like 10 of them, especially if you do it on one block, eventually they're all going to get it and they're going to be like, oh, this was just a gag. I should have never told my wife I was cheating on her. That was.
You know what? If it brings another cheater to justice, then have at it.
Because the people that have done nothing wrong are going to take it and go, this is so stupid, and throw it away. But the guy who's cheating on his wife is going to be like, oh, shit.
Now, can you write underneath Happy Halloween?
No.
Just I know what you did.
Just I know what you did.
Can on the back be like a festive Halloween decoration?
And then it's over too quick. You want somebody to sweat a little bit.
Can there be like a red stain on it?
No, because if you don't want to.
Yeah, that might be a little too.
It's too much.
Too down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, just a regular piece of paper, or a napkin or something.
Who has paper anymore?
Do
you have paper in your house? I don't think I have paper in my house.
I got some paper somewhere. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I went to Staples or whatever a while back, and I saw a stack of paper. It was like $1.10 or something. It was like a stack of printing paper. There was a ream of it, 500 sheets. And I went, you know what? I'm going to buy this because how many times do you have to write down a note or a list or whatever, and you never have paper. It spent about 2 days in my house, and we gave it away to someone who actually has a printer. And I was like, yeah, we're never going to need paper again. What am I doing? This is stupid.
You don't have a printer in your house?
No, do not.
Yeah. I have. I didn't use it for the longest time, but ever since this distance learning thing was going on, we've had to print a whole bunch of crap. So I had to hook it back up again.
I don't have to print anything. I don't know why, but that's weird. Why shouldn't I? I should have to print something eventually.
I do get so angry, and it happens on occasion where you're dealing with whatever, and somebody's like, yeah, fax it back to me. And you're like, what? Are you for real?
Yeah, let me get my carrier pigeon, and I'll send it to you. What are you, nuts?
We just had something. It was, I don't know if it was for the school or if it was for an old medical bill from my wife from like when she had the kids or whatever. But they were like, yeah, we only take faxes. We had to like go online and find
You have to get go to a Kinko's or a FedEx place or something.
No, there's some things that like fax.com or whatever where you could go on and you can like send
Scan it?
like attach a file and then we scanned it, attached the file and had to send it. It's like how archaic. Like I'm like they don't have an email address. Like they got a phone number but not an email address. Like who are these people?
Yeah, fax machines. I don't know, man. They're rough. I mean, they work and they're good. I mean, they still have a purpose, I think, but I don't have one. I don't think I know anybody that has one. I mean, unless you're working in an office, I don't have, who has a fax machine?
Who has a fax machine? Who is demanding I just watched Rob Kardashian wish his daughter a happy 40th birthday from the grave. And people are still like, send me a fax?
And why are they like 10 feet tall, fax machines? Like, they're huge. They're like the size of washing machines. What are we doing? Can't I just fax something? Why aren't they this big?
By the way, I will never forget this. I will never forget this for as long as I live. But when we were, I don't know if you remember this, but when we were in grammar school, Frank and I went to the same grammar school. I don't remember who exactly. I want to say it was Nicole. I can't say last names, but we had an assignment to do like a report on technology. It was like something to do with technology. Like we had to write about something and how technology was affecting our lives. And do you remember any of this?
This sounds familiar. I know that there's a good punchline to this, but I can't remember what it is. Go ahead.
So Nicole, this girl Nicole, does it on the fax machine, and we were in, I don't know, third. Well, actually,
it had to be like 5th or 6th grade. 7th grade.
No, so maybe it was before you even came, actually. So I think it was actually before you came, now that I think about it. Anyway,
I feel like I know this story, but go ahead.
She chooses the fax machine. So it's a little girl talking to a bunch of little boys and girls trying to explain the fax machine back in 1980, whatever. And I remember part of her presentation, her report that, you had to stand in front of the class and give it, was at a certain time when she was going to give the report, her mom was going to send a fax to the school, like saying, hello, everybody. And so we had to she had to get special permission to bring the class to pile into the principal's office because that's the only place where the fax machine actually was.
Okay, no, I don't know this story, but go ahead.
And so we're standing in the principal's office, and we're like all the kids, we pile into the principal's office now, we're waiting for this, and she's like, it's going to be incredible. She's like, paper is going to come through the wires and out this machine. And we're like, get out of here. This is
to be fair, it's like 30 years later, and I still don't understand how fax machines work. It's a wire. How the hell is... Oh, God. Anyway.
But sure enough, this thing starts spitting out this paper. And like you said, it's a box, and we're children. So all we see is a box and one wire plugged into the wall. And she's like, and she pulls open the thing, and it says, hi, everybody. And she holds up, and she goes, see, it came through the wires. And we were like, oh, paper goes through wires?
Mind blown.
I had no idea
fair,
there was a tray of paper
that's
in there.
Still astounding. It still astounds me. I don't get it, and I sound old when I say it, but if someone could... a fax machine, I don't get it. Even TV, how the hell... and also signals and crap, but they figured this out 80 years ago. It's like, it still boggles my mind.
It's amazing how radio works to me. Like
radio too. Who the hell discovered radio waves and how you can turn that into? It's amazing.
Yeah, that you can talk into this.
What we're talking on right now.
Yeah, and then it goes, and then you hear somebody hears it somewhere. Yeah,
I could almost understand how it's all wires and if I talk to you on the phone, all right, it's all connected somehow. But this is wireless. I'm talking to you on my iPad. It's not plugged into anything, and it's instant.
It's
and
crazy.
It's insane to me.
It's crazy.
How?
So I had this conversation too the other day with a guy that I work with at the radio station because I was saying it's daylight saving, we have to move the clocks this weekend. So I have an alarm clock, right, that just plugs into the wall. It's an alarm clock. It's not any. And I said to him, I go, I bought it. I didn't buy it at Brookstone, you know what I mean, or Sharper Image. I bought it at CVS. It was like $9. I plug it into the wall, and whenever there's a time change, it just does it by itself. I'm like, how the hell does
It's
it
digital.
know?
It's like, it has those little, like the numbers are in those little dashes. That kind of clock.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Does it have the date on it?
No.
There's no date programmed into it.
No date. I think it might show the days of the week, but there's no date. There's no dates on it. So
Is it a radio as well?
It's a radio as well.
Maybe somehow through the radio. I don't know. He
said that there is one radio station, I think in Arizona. It's a shortwave radio station. And and I believe him. I didn't have a chance to back it up and look it up, but I believe him. He says that this one radio station, sends out the time to devices anywhere, any device that has an antenna on it, which this has an antenna, it'll send out the time signal, and that your alarm clock changes time based off of that one radio station sending out a shortwave signal throughout the country and it receiving it through its antenna. Yeah.
I don't know.
Because
radio stations historically don't reach that far. Even AM stations from Arizona to here.
Yeah. Well, but short wave. So you can, it can definitely reach that far. You can have an AM signal reach across the country. There's just so much stuff in the way.
They're all blocked up, right?
Yeah. And other stations and other signals that mess it up.
And
but
this somehow makes it through.
That's what he said. And this was a station that, like, years and years and years ago, it used to tune into it and be like, at the sound of the tone, it's 5:35. So and that's what it used to be.
Now every station does that almost.
Now every station does that. So they decided that they'll convert that. They'll use that to be the little thing that just beams out. So if you have a device in your home that's just plugged into the wall and not internet powered or whatever, that's the thing that's actually making it change the clock on its own.
That is freaky. And what is equally ironic about that is that I believe Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the only states that doesn't obey daylight savings time.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's like, it's on, sometimes it's mountain time, sometimes it's Pacific time, because it doesn't set the clocks in either direction when it comes around. I believe it's Arizona.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, and he said that if the clock in your radio in your car does it, like let's say you have an older car, 10, 15 years old, that it's actually the local radio stations that are doing that, because they send out RDS signals that will like tell you what song is playing. Those things will also change your clocks for you.
Then how come I gotta set the clock myself every time?
I know. Yeah,
Can't it just do it? Can't the signal do it for me every day? Make sure my clock is exact.
I think it depends on the car, but one of my cars does it. The other car doesn't. My old junker that I run around with doesn't.
Seems like there's a few holes in this story. I don't know.
There's a lot of holes in this story, but he could be totally lying to me. But that's what he told me yesterday, and I was like,
"It sounds great."
Yeah,
it sounds. It sounds like a really smart person messing with a couple of really dumb people. He knows the answer. He knows what he's saying is crap, but he's just screwing with us.
Yeah. Grab your subscription to Hero Soap Company. So just like the clocks, you can just have soap show up at your door and you never have to worry about ordering soap ever again.
Like clockwork.
Like clockwork, my friends. Save 20% off using the promo code Anthony right now. Click the link in the description of this episode or the banner at anthonyonair.com to order your soap. Again, when you buy a bar, they send a bar to the troops. And part of the money that they take in goes to buy homes for veterans coming back from serving. And on top of that, it's just like a premium, high quality soap. If you love Starbucks because it's like a premium, high quality coffee, you're gonna love this soap because it's not mass produced and it's made by hand.
And they also have liquid soap now too. They have the bar and they have the liquid.
They do, yeah. I've been meaning. I gotta get them to send me over. I want to try some of that. But they do have that, and they're having a gift pack in time for the holiday. So it comes in like a nice box with a bunch of stuff. So
there's a good idea.
Yeah, if you got a real, if you got somebody, a real patriot in the family that that loves the country and helping the troops out, and also maybe has an odor issue, this is going to be perfect for them.
Someone who likes or needs soap.
Even if they don't have an odor issue, it's going to be great for them. So check it out. Link in the description. And again, every bar that you buy goes and helps support our show as well. That's it for me, Frankie C. You got anything else?
Just want to wish everybody a happy, healthy, and safe. Be safe on Halloween.
Yes.
No matter what you're doing, you might be trick-or-treating, you might not be. But just be safe. Mask up.
Yes.
And, take care of each other and just look out for each other.
And we'll see you before, I don't know if Frank will see you, but we'll definitely do one more episode before the election. So, a little bit of an election episode next time around. There you go. Hardcore commitment from Frankie C. I'll try.
A hardcore commitment of I'll try is not really a commitment. That doesn't do anything.
What are you giving out? Skittles and Milky Ways? Is that what
Skittles and Milky Ways, baby. Yep, we're just going to put a thing at the bottom of the steps on our front porch. People could come up and just grab something.
Yeah, I think we're doing Kit Kats this year. I don't know why or how we landed on Kit Kats, but
Kit Kats work.
I guess so.
They do the job.
I think it's because I'm trying not to be such a gluttonous pig, and my wife knows I don't really care for Kit Kats. I think that's how it happened.
The best is, if we're going to be serious here, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Yeah.
Those are the best. You get those, you're on cloud nine. But we didn't want to do anything. I think there might be a peanut allergy on the block, so we kind of stayed away from peanuts.
Ah, very good. Very good.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Have a great Halloween. Stay safe. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Links and everything else over at anthonyonair.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. See ya.